Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of Channel Your Light, Own Your Intuitive with myself, Erin Chandler. I am so grateful that you are here. For those of you who are new, I am an intuitive guide, healer, psychic medium, author, and teacher. So, as many of you know who have been following this channel, sometimes there are channels that come through from different deities, gods, and goddesses. I have one in particular that is consistently showing up with messages. I'm hearing messenger of light, a messenger of the muses, a messenger of an energy that is asking to be honored, that is asking to be reveled in, that is asking to be seen and felt and embodied. So it is Calliope, both and. Sometimes I say the names wrong. That is a-okay. It is not about the name my daughter Ava says. It is about the energy. It is about the embodiment. It is about the teachings. It is about the great metaphors that speak to the soul rather than the mind. And when you speak to the soul, I am being told very clearly by my daughter Ava, when we speak directly to the soul, we are bypassing the logical mind. For there are things that only the soul can know, only the soul can feel and divine, whereas the logical mind doesn't always quite ascertain it. However, that which the soul divines and receives and experiences is actually in tandem with that right hemisphere of the brain. They feed one another as the infinite, as above, so below, as there is night, there is day, as there is receiving, so too is there the giving, both and. Calliope wishes to I'm just going to sit with this for a minute. There is all of these sweet nothings I am hearing, and they are like poetry. And as I see the words, it's like they are dripping with sweet honey, where all the hard work has been done, and the honey is dripping off the words. It's like they're just bombarding. So I just need to slow it down and take a moment here. I am hearing the muses. There is a deep and sweet melody in the harmony of each and every one of you. There is a reason why we come to the times where we need to breathe, where we need to replenish, where we need to play, where we need to move through this sensuality, where our bodies must dance, and they must dance with the light and the love. And I'm hearing flutes, and I'm hearing a harp. It is like this beautiful, magical frequency and tone that just alights the soul within, alights the spirit. She is showing me the painter painting the masterpiece. She's referencing the blank canvas. She says, so many of us here on the earth plane create canvases that are not of our soul's yearning. You will be asked at times during this process to sit with the energy of the muses, to sit with the beauty of the deity and the goddess energy of Calliope, for it is often through the play and the dance and the magic and the mystery when you are letting go and flowing with the elementals and flowing with your spirit, creating for the sake of creating, not for an outcome or a purpose. It is in those moments of beautiful creation that your soul takes over and your mind lets go. This is also how many of you divine your activities that you will do on the earth plane. It is often through play when you have let go of the logical mind and your to-do list, in those moments of sweet surrender, of sweet freedom, of sweet dancing with the ethers, listening to the harp of the soul, the frequency or the notes in the song. Just as there are low and deep reverberating notes, so too is there high and delicate angelical notes. All notes hold a frequency. This note of Calliope is a note of the sweet surrender of the music. And I'm seeing parties and people connecting and communicating without needing to logically plan it out, without needing to have an outcome, without it being a plan. She's rolling up the map and saying, just for one day, dear hearts, take the map and set it aside and play, dance with delight, sing off key, go out and experience and explore. For if you deny the simple part of who you are, how can you welcome the balance of the equinox? How can you divine through what the logical mind is unable to grasp, that is elusive? It is through the divine, the receiving and the play that allows the soul to take over and move through you. The beautiful dance of the receiving and giving, the stillness and the action. At the planting of the seed, and when it is in full bloom, all of the spaces in between must be honored. So too must this aspect of each soul be honored and opened. It's like I'm seeing somebody, she's showing me the phoenix in the cage. It's like opening the cage at the Isha'a for those who create for the sake of creating and who feel from the depths of their soul. You are often told that you are too sensitive, too emotional, and yet this is how you divine through these specific notes and the poetry that you write. I am hearing and seeing somebody write the most stunning poetry, love notes. I'm seeing a rose petals dropping down now. It is the words of the divine dripping with honey. It is the words of the soul rather than the mind, for it is the mind that is able to receive the words of the soul in order to put them onto the paper. It's the mind that simply calculates, assimilates, compartmentalizes, and understands. However, you must honor the deep soul yearning, the fluid and the flow of all things, the cycles and the patterns, the circles and the spirals. The geometrical patterns are divined from the soul blueprint, not from the mind. It is part of the divine design to ripple and flow and dance. I'm being shown now, whoever this individual is, writing on this paper, these are words that your soul has spoken before. You have spoken them for centuries, lifetime after lifetime. Whomever this is, you will know this message is yours. She is showing me a sacred honoring and the lotus flower that sits upon the page, now illuminating, and the words rise off the page, for so too do they hold the energy and frequency of creation. Every book, a live energy. Every book, an entity of its own that has been divined through your sweet, poetic words. I am hearing poetic justice. I am hearing the depths of the deep reverberations of one's soul, that which has not been spoken, that which you have placed behind closed doors, that no one sees it, and yet the words rise off the page, glistening with divine wisdom. Calliope is flipping through your book of poetry, your book of journal, your soul's expression. What is the very reason you are here to create, the very reasons you do create, and the experiences that were brought to you to ignite these deep soul yearnings, knowings, creativity. She's showing me the flower gardens. She's showing me the waterfalls. She's showing me the desert and running your hands through the sand. She says, one permeates all aspects of the 3D earth plane when one is willing to explore all aspects and depths of the soul. The mind will go with you as you explore, for it is required to understand it in some capacity. And yet, there will be things that your soul creates, places you will go that you are drawn to, feelings that you have that may not make any sense to the logical brain. You may wonder why you have been there, why you have felt that, why that moment existed. It is because your soul knows, not because your mind knows. Allow yourself to dip and play in the freedom of the muses, in the eccentricity, allowing your wings to furl, the phoenix to be uncaged. Allow yourself to paint a masterpiece that looks like, I have Van Gogh here, that looks like a Van Gogh artworks. For one man's trash is another man's treasure, and yet it is neither. They are all treasures of different facets and aspects, different muses and expressions of the experiences. I am being told to go back to the poetic soul who is on here. I am being shown the words upon your page, literally living entities, ethereal. I'm seeing the words dance across the room, circling around you. As it came from your soul, it is also part of your soul, embedded within you, intended for the eyes of others, for the consciousness of others, to hear the sweetness of your words, to feel the depths of your heart. I'm hearing Rumi. We're being reminded of Rumi. Calliope says, as Rumi wrote, the deep love, for that was the purpose of that life as a master, was to sink and unfurl into the love, the deep and the tender. You will notice that that master mastered this life of moving through the expressions of love, whereas another may have mastered self-awareness through a completely different facet. Both facets are needed, but Rumi is very important. It is through the deepness, the depth of the expression of one's soul, without tamping it down, without dimming it, without silencing it, without plucking out words that one may say do not fit or does not go or is not needed. For all words are needed in the grand scope. All words are needed because that is how we pluck out the sweetest of sentences, the most enlightened epiphanies, the words of grace, the things that drip the honey into the soul of the self. There is beauty in creativity. There is beauty in painting a masterpiece. Calliope says, do not chain your muses to the ground. Do not silence the music that asks to flow from you. Do not dim your heart's words, your emotions, for fear that they are too much, for that is how the deepest, divinest expression unfolds. You will be called during this time to honor with sacred reverence those that play, those that create, the wild women that dance in the circle, not caring, howling at the moon, honoring that which one may see as silly, which one may look upon as unnecessary. If it exists and it flows through another, it is because it is necessary on the grand scheme of the evolution of souls. It is required for that soul's expression, and yet it may not be required for another soul's expression. There is no soul on this earth plane that has not yearned deeply in the quietest of places, in the most hidden corners, to dance freely with wild abandon, to run naked through the forest, to paint wildly with no outcome in mind, to sing a hum, a tune, a song that simply is divined through, without needing the notes to be right or on key, for nothing is truly off key. The off key is what leads us to our on key. The meandering and the play and the dance and the playfulness removes the logical attachments. It is a complete detachment when one follows its soul's calling, its yearning, when it releases the logical mind's need to plan, to articulate. For the expansiveness of all souls truly cannot be articulated in an English language. in any language. Words do not describe the infiniteness that each of you are, that you hold within you. We are unfurling souls, the yearnings, the freedoms, through dance, through play. I'm seeing somebody splash around in the water, in the puddles, like a little kid again, jumping in and watching all the water spout out. This is the beauty and the innocence of the children around you. They bring you back to your present moment. And yet, this is a message for a parent. Even though you have responsibilities and things you need to take care of, and food to put on the table, and a job you must have to bring money in, to pay for the roof over your head, do not forget that is for your children. But the gift your child brings to you is in the present moment, reminding you to play, igniting the inner child, bringing you to this moment with the sparkle of the wonder of the child, reigniting it in you to bring you to this present moment, to play, to laugh, to watch the clouds roll by as they change shapes and tell a story, to allow you to imagine through the storytelling in the books, to make it come alive, to reignite your childlike wonder, to dance and wiggle your bums and play. You so too will you notice that these children also bring through divine wisdom at the most unexpected times, sometimes a saying, a knowing, pointing something out, connecting with that which you do not see. This is because they do not follow their logical mind. They follow the freedom and the wonder of their soul's yearnings, as the newness untamped by the rules and the regulations and the shoulds and the coulds and the woulds. Allow them to bring you back to the wonder, the playfulness, the true divinity within each and every one of you. Absolute joy and bliss. There is no past. There is no future. There is only the moment that you look into their eyes as they sparkle with wonder and exude unconditional love, and do not tamp down their expressions of their experience, their playfulness, their creativity, and their wonder. They draw and color masterpieces, not because it needs to look a certain way or fit a certain mold or be shaped into a box. They simply color and say, "Look what I made." Calliope has a very fluid, very divine, feminine, very freeing energy. She says she wishes to mark and honor with sacred reverence. And at this, she's showing me a candle that has all these colors in it, like a rainbow candle. She says the flame on it is a rainbow flame. It is all the creativity and the imagination and the wonderings and the playfulness and the sensuality and the creativity and all of the abundance of that flow. The dancing in the fields, the wild women who chant around the circle. Free this part of your soul, acknowledge and express it, even if it is just for a moment. That map we set to the side, she says, that map of the plans and all of those things, that will still be there. You can take a moment and release all things and allow the soul to alight and dance and connect down through into you, embodying the soul's yearnings, because that map will be there tomorrow. That plan will be there tomorrow. Indeed, it will. Someone is being asked to play, even if it's just for a moment. The amount of divine wisdom you will receive in the midst of playing will shock you. Calliope says, as you dance and release the mind, twirling around the room, allowing your soul to take over for a moment, it will write your North Star and your compass to your true north. It will allow you to drop in puzzle pieces. You think the logical mind will find your answer, dear heart, but in truth, it is your soul who will give the information to your logical mind to then put the puzzle piece where it belongs. She is bowing with this beautiful dress, curtsying, I want to say, taking a curtsy. And she says, I honor each and every one of you, the beautiful, the sensitive, the creators, those that dream of magic and wish to embed it on the earth plane. Play, paint, dance, sing, wander, just be a human being. Allow yourself to do the being, for that is an action as well, rather than the effort of doing. Embody the soul, even if just for a moment, and you will find deep bliss and reprieve and peace in that element and aspect of your soul being. I now understand why she has been coming, friends. I am being shown the different I am always grateful for this. I have to say, through my own experience, sometimes the most profound understandings have come to me. Sometimes it's through meditating. Sometimes it's through listening to a sound frequency. But a lot of times, these deep, profound knowings just come in huge chunks when I'm out playing, when I'm laying in the grass, when I am painting a picture, when I'm doing a puzzle, when I go out dancing. It's when I just allow myself to be free in the moment. And there is nothing but that. It's the present moment, right? That's when all this knowing comes in. That's when all of the answers and the connections of things I haven't understood simply arrive. It's when my plans for the future, if I have a plan and a goal that I want to manifest, oftentimes in these moments of playing, of complete present moment, of dancing with delight, and yes, it is often childlike wonder, it is often beauty and singing and playing and resting. It's my soul being. That's where that thing I wanted to manifest, suddenly all the downloads or all the epiphanies or all the divine information of the how suddenly arrives. And I say, thank you. There are those of us who operate with the logical minds on this earth plane, really focusing in on the scientific and the logical aspects. Oh, but my loves, you are divine beings too, and in truth you are the divine incarnate, and it is your soul's yearnings that do indeed prompt you, nudge you, bring through those logical knowings. Your mind does not direct the soul directs the mind, and sometimes we have it opposite. Just as the heart and the mind, so too is the soul, soul star chakra, third eye, the mind, and the spirit, the heart chakra, mind, body, and spirit, all meant to work in tandem. But if it is just the logical mind that is steering the ship, you have missed the most profound access to all the hows that the mind needs to put the plan into form. When we think about imagination, I teach that the imagination is the throughway of your intuition. Some say the third eye is the seat of your intuition. The reason I talk about imagination and why it's so profound, it has different aspects. There is the imagination that the divine speaks to us so we can receive the imaginings of the how, of the thing we have imagined that we want to create. So there is the imagination that allows us to receive these deep intuitive knowings. It is the imagination that allows us to receive an answer. It's our imagination that allows us to receive information. Then we take the other side of our imagination and we use it to plan. This is where the mind kicks in with the action, the masculine energy. Notice this receiving is the feminine, flowing, allow it to come to you, your soul's knowings. But there's the aspect of the imagination, so too, that plans out your day. What colors do I need to use for this painting? I see the end result. Now I have to put into plan the how. We receive the divine information through our imagination. So too do we plan with our imagination. And we bring the two together. One comes in and goes around and creates. Another comes in just like the infinity. And they all come into the physical vessel embodied. This is why when I talk about masculine and feminine, although most of us look outside of us, as in a male and a female, these are within you. You are both. You are meant to both receive and give, to play and to work, to be and to do, to rest and to act. All things have a place in this experience for each and every one of us to truly have a spiritual expansion, to truly expand into all the dimensions of you. One must be willing to venture into places that scare us, that we are required to relinquish control. Sometimes we are required to take actions that are in the unknown and out of our comfort zone. Sometimes they require us to don the logical mind and sit down in that beautiful logical aspecting of bringing the things together. Sometimes we need to drop into the depths of our hearts and our sorrow, the high heights of sweet love and the low lows of the grief when we feel we have lost that love. And yet, it is not a loss of it. It is simply the whole spectrum of all things. Please play, dance. Allow your soul to guide you for a day. And for those of you, I'm being told, for those of you who already allow your soul to guide you and others do not understand, do not pay attention to those that do not understand. For it is your soul that is guiding you, not their souls. Do not allow someone to tell you the way who has never been that way, who does not allow their soul to guide them. Do not take your notes from them. Do not allow them to guide you or tell you opinions I'm hearing, give you opinions on what you should be and where you should go and what you should do. Calliope says, this is a deep and sacred honoring of all those in the arts, those that create beauty from the ugly, those that feel with every aspect of their being, those who sense so deeply that it is their own. Never stop following your soul's guidance. Oftentimes when we are in the chaos, that's the time we are asked to be still. When there are rumblings, I'm getting a reference to the Rumble channel, which is interesting as we face disclosures and truths and the rumblings within the 3D collective consciousness. You will need to take periods of time out. She says you will need to take times or days to play, to release all of that, to come home to the self. That is often how we find balance. When we have the opposites of duality, we must find a balance. If you have not done so already, please like, share, and subscribe. If you like this channel, of course, these are some of the wonderful things that come through to share with the collective consciousness. For those of you who resonate as deep soul channelings and guidance. If any of you wish to connect with me, whether it's through a personal reading with your spirit team I am hearing, or perhaps it is a deep spiritual quantum cleanse, please feel free to connect with me on my website. You can find the link to connect with me in the video description box below. Until next time, beautiful souls.